Hi there everyone, I'm going to show you how to make this newborn hat. It's pretty cute. It's probably for a boy. Well, you could put it on a girl if you really wanted to, but I personally would put it on a boy. I don't have any kids, so I just sort of get measurements from online and stuff like that, and then make guesses from there. So what you'll be needing is a 7mm hook, and you'll be needing some 12-ply yarn, and I got this yarn from Kmart in New Zealand for a huge ball of yarn for so much. I think that was $12 or something, $10 even. So what you do is you make a slip knot, insert the hook into the loop, pull it tight. Usually pull over the thumb holder so it doesn't get too tight, and then you chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you make a slip knot to the first chain you made. So pull up a loop and pull through the next loop. And you make your slip knot, and you made a sort of little circle here. So you chain 1 and you work 6 single crochets into the loop. So I'm working the yarn into the yarn tail that I made to begin with in the single crochet, so that so I don't have to sew on the ends. But if you don't have experience doing this, just sew on the ends. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and you make a slip knot into the first stitch you made. That forms the first part of that. So usually what I do is I grab my scissors and I chop off the yarn end that I worked in. And then I go on to the next round. So the second round you chain 1, and then you work a stitch into the same chain 1 space. And then you place a stitch marker in that space, in that chain. So these stitch markers I got from Craft in New Zealand for $3. Pack of 20 for $3, they're not too bad. They're pretty good. And I got other ones from eBay as well, because I always lose my stitch markers. So I got a pack of 100 for $1 off eBay, but those ones weren't so good. So what you do is you make a single crochet increase into this next stitch. and then a single crochet increase into each stitch around. And I will continue to do this for the whole round, and you can pause the video and I'll meet you at the end. Okay, we're at the end of the second round, so what we do is we make a slip knot into the first stitch we made. For those of you who don't know how to do a single crochet increase, it's just basically two single crochets into one stitch. So I'll show that in a minute. So you chain one for the third round, and then you make a single crochet into the same chain one space, and then you add your stitch marker. If you don't have a stitch marker, you can use a bobby pin or a paper clip or a safety pin without a coil, because the coils usually get into the yarn, so I wouldn't suggest using one with a coil on it. So you single crochet into the next stitch once, so we'll go through. It's hard doing this on camera, I tell you. There we go, and then you single crochet. Excuse my background there, it's just the cat on the chair actually. And then you single crochet increase into the next stitch. So what you do is you single crochet into the stitch twice. So 1 and 2. Likes to split on me, this yarn, sometimes, but it's just acrylic yarn for you. And then you single crochet into the next stitch once, and then the next stitch twice, and that's called a single crochet increase. And then you continue on like that until you get to the end. So pause the video. So 1 stitch here and 2 stitches there, or an increase there, and we'll get to the end of the round. Okay, we'll come to the end of the round now, and it's looking like a pretty good circular thing there. So I have already done my slip stitch. Sorry, it's slip stitch, not slip knot. I keep getting confused between the two, but they pretty much, oh, I mean a slip stitch when I usually say a slip knot, unless it's at the beginning, and that is a slip knot. So I've chained 1, and so I work a single crochet into the same chain 1 space, and then I work 2 single crochets into the next 2 stitches. So 1 single crochet into the next 2 stitches. So 1 and 2, and then I do a single crochet increase. So into the 1 stitch is 2 single crochets. 1, 2. And then I'll do that again, so you can see 1, 2, and then I work an increase. 1, 2, and then one thing I forgot to mention is stitch markers. I sometimes forget to put them in, so just put them into the first stitch that you made. Don't forget, like I did. Here we go. These are the eBay ones. And then you continue on like that. So 2 and well, one in the next 2 stitches and then 2 in the next 1 stitch. So, and I will meet you at the end. Okay, we're at the end of this round, and as you can see, it's a little bit bigger, and we only need 1 more round, and then we'll be ready to make the hat. So just a minute there, my yarn is getting a little tangled up, and I've had a good day today, but my cat died recently, and I had her since I was 10, and I'm pretty sad, so rest in peace, Missy. We'll miss you. She was a big part of the family, always there at Christmas dinner, wanting turkey and things like that. She was a gorgeous wee puss, and I'm going to miss her so much. And also, shout out to my aunties who are probably watching this, and probably the only ones who do watch this. So shout out to my aunties, and you know who you are. You guys are awesome, and inspired me a lot throughout the years. So thank you. I think I'm going to chop this yarn off, because look at that. It often happens to me, because I always wind up and wind down and wind up and wind down my balls of yarn, which is a bit annoying, but oh well. So when I get to the end, I'll show you how to work the ends in. So what you do, you chain 1. I've already made my slip stitch. Chain, double single crochet into the same chain 1 space. And then in the next few stitches, you are going to single crochet into the chain 1 space. No, you're going to single crochet into the next 3 stitches once. So 1, excuse the background noises there, 1, 2, and 3. And then you're going to make an increase into the next stitch. 1, and 2. And so you do that all around, so 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2. And I've run out of yarn, so I'm going to show you how to connect the next piece of yarn. So I'm just going to do 1 single crochet, but rather than finishing it off, what I do is I grab another piece of yarn to see if I can untangle this bit. This bit here. I'm good at untangling things. Usually, yep, here it goes. Just pull apart and then drop, pull apart and then drop. That's what someone taught me when I was younger. So I'll just chop that bit off there. Don't want to chop my fingers, do I? There's some crusty old scissors, but oh well. So rather than finishing off the chain, the stitch, the single crochet, I pull and I put another piece of yarn in and pull that up tightly. Usually I'll work the ends in, but because they're thick ends, I would rather sew them in. And don't forget your slips, your stitch marker right here. Because it's such thick yarn, I can remember where the stitches are, but if it wasn't as thick as it is, I would not remember where I started. And so you continue on like that. So I've done the 1, so I'll do 2 more here, and then 2 more here, and so on. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. That's how I remember. Just count in your head or count out loud. It makes you look a bit crazy. And I'll meet you at the end. Okay, we're at the end of the round, and it is big enough to start making the hat now. Well, to stop increasing and start just going around the hat to make it a hat. So that's all you do. So you chain 1, and then in the next stitch along, not in the same stitch as the chain 1 space, but in the next stitch along, you make 1 single crochet, and then in each stitch you make 1 single crochet only, and then when you get to the end, which should be the end there, you stop crocheting. No, this end here, you stop crocheting, and then that one, sorry, the end, that should be your last stitch, and then the next one should slip stitch into the top. So you just make 1 single crochet only, and then you do that for 9 more rounds. So this is why I like to have lots of stitch holders on hand. So every round I keep stitch holder in, so I can count my rounds. So I'll have 1 stitch holder, 2 stitches, and so on for each round. So I know when I'm up to the 9th round, but you don't have to do that if you don't want to. You just write it down on a bit of paper. That's what my mum usually does. The knitting, she writes down a bit of paper so she remembers where she is. And you can also get apps on your phone for it, to help you remember as well. Yeah. So you do 9 more rounds, and then your hat should end up looking like this one here. It's gorgeous. Really cute and small. Should fit a newborn, hopefully. I'm not going to show you how to sew in ends because I'm not very good at sewing ends myself, and you'll be horribly surprised if I sew them in. I'm not that good at sewing in ends, honestly, and I think most of you will be better at sewing ends than I am. But if you want a video on that, let me know. And I can try and do it perfectly, but I'm not that good at sewing in ends, I tell you. And so 9 more rounds, and your hat should be looking like this. And then you can sew on the ends and give it to that little baby in your life. Okay, have a good day. I hope you enjoyed my video. Please remember to give it a thumbs up if you like it. If not, then give me some constructive feedback. Thank you. Bye.